Welcome to Facts Intrigue channel, where the truth is stranger than fiction. Today, we dive deep into the shadows of deceit to unveil the secrets of master manipulators. These individuals orchestrated the most audacious scams in history, leaving a trail of chaos and disbelief. From the charming to the enigmatic, from the seemingly benign to the outright dangerous, join us as we unravel the tales of the most notorious swindlers and their unthinkable schemes. This is not just about the con, but about the minds behind the con. Buckle up, as we enter the world of deceit, where seeing is not always believing. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe, like and hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos are up. Now on with the video of unveiling the masters of deceit, notorious swindlers and their schemes, starting with Charles Ponzi, the Ponzi scheme architect. In the bustling streets of Boston in the early 1920s, a man named Charles Ponzi discovered a loophole seemingly too good to be true. His scheme was based on the arbitrage of international reply coupons for postage stamps. Ponzi promised investors a 50% profit in just 45 days by claiming to exploit discrepancies in currency exchange rates. As word spread, money poured in from thousands, eager to partake in these extraordinary returns. But the truth was far darker. Ponzi was not investing funds as promised. Instead, he used the money from new investors to pay returns to earlier ones, creating the illusion of a successful business. This model, later known as the Ponzi scheme, relies on a constant influx of new investments to sustain itself. However, like all unsustainable models, it began to crumble when the influx of new investors slowed, and the structure started to collapse under its own weight. Authorities became suspicious of Ponzi's luxurious lifestyle and his company's anomalously high returns. In 1920, the Boston Post initiated a series of investigative articles questioning the legitimacy of Ponzi's operation, leading to panic amongst investors. This panic triggered a run on Ponzi's company, with investors demanding their money back. The scheme quickly unraveled, and Ponzi's world of deceit came crashing down. Ponzi was arrested and charged with multiple counts of mail fraud. Despite his initial attempts to defend himself, the evidence was overwhelming. Ponzi served 3.5 years in federal prison but was later rearrested for other charges related to his scheme. He never paid back most of his victims, leaving countless families in financial ruin. In the end, Ponzi's life was a shadow of his former opulence. After being released from prison, he was deported to Italy. He lived his final years in poverty and died in a charity hospital in Rio de Janeiro in 1949. The term Ponzi scheme has since become synonymous with investment frauds where returns to older investors are paid from the capital of new investors, rather than from profit earned. The legacy of Charles Ponzi is a stark reminder of the perils of greed and the fragility of trust in the financial world. Now on to Bernard Madoff, the king of the Ponzi scheme. In a tale of deceit that shook the financial world to its core, Bernard Madoff masterminded the largest Ponzi scheme ever recorded. Operating under the guise of a legitimate investment firm, Madoff's company, Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities LLC, promised consistent and above-average returns to its clients. Investors, ranging from the wealthy elite to charitable organizations, were all drawn into Madoff's web of lies. The scheme was simple yet devastatingly effective. Madoff used funds from new investors to pay returns to earlier ones, creating the illusion of a highly successful investment strategy. Year after year, clients received statements showing steady gains, not knowing that their profits were a mirage. But cracks in this facade started to appear with the economic downturn of 2008. Investors, facing their own financial pressures, began to withdraw funds. Madoff's scheme, which relied on a constant flow of new investments, started to unravel rapidly. The influx of new funds couldn't keep up with the demand for withdrawals, exposing the catastrophic reality. There were no substantial investments, only a house of cards waiting to fall. As the truth emerged, the scale of the fraud was staggering. The estimated losses totaled around $65 billion, a figure that included fabricated gains and actual principal. In December 2008, Madoff's world came crashing down when he was arrested and charged with securities fraud. In court, the extent of his deception became painfully clear. Madoff pleaded guilty to 11 federal felonies, including securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. In 2009, he was sentenced to 150 years in prison, the maximum sentence allowed. His colossal fraud left a trail of destruction, with many investors losing their life savings and charitable organizations facing financial ruin. Madoff's Ponzi scheme is not just a tale of financial fraud, it's a story of betrayal and shattered trust. His downfall was a wake-up call to regulators and investors alike, highlighting the need for vigilance and transparency in the financial sector. Bernard Madoff died in prison in April 2021, but the scars of his actions live on in the lives of those he deceived. The legacy of his scheme serves as a grim reminder of the devastating impact of greed and the importance of oversight in the world of finance. The next grand scammer is Frank Abagnale, the great imposter. Frank Abagnale's life reads like a script from a Hollywood movie, filled with daring escapades, cunning disguises, and a race against the law. Before his 21st birthday, Abagnale had successfully posed as a Pan-American World Airways pilot, a Georgia doctor, a Louisiana parish prosecutor, and a sociology professor, all while masterfully forging checks and eluding capture. His journey into the world of deception began as a teenager, seeking to escape a troubled family life. Abagnale's first con was forging his father's signature on a credit card to buy car parts. Soon, he realized the potential of check forgery and embarked on a life of crime, using his charm and wit to exploit the banking system. As a fake Pan Am pilot, he flew over 1 million miles for free, jumping from country to country, staying one step ahead of the authorities. But Frank's audacity didn't stop at impersonation. He forged a Harvard University law diploma, passed the Louisiana bar exam, and worked in a state attorney's office. He also pretended to be a pediatrician in Georgia, where he was in charge of resident interns for a short period. His life was a series of breathtaking cons, each more audacious than the last. However, the law was closing in. After a series of close calls and international pursuits, Abagnale was finally captured in France when an Air France attendant recognized his face from a wanted poster. Extradited to the United States, he faced a harsh reality. Frank served less than 5 years of a 12-year sentence in various federal prisons. Remarkably, Abagnale's story takes an unexpected turn after his release. Recognizing his unique expertise, the federal government offered him a role as a consultant and lecturer at the FBI Academy. Abagnale accepted the offer, turning his life around to help the very institution that once chased him. For over 40 years, he has worked with the FBI, teaching agents about the world of fraud, and founded Abagnale and Associates, a financial fraud consultancy company. Frank Abagnale's life is a testament to redemption and the capacity for change. His story, dramatized in the movie Catch Me If You Can, reminds us that sometimes the line between con artist and hero is as thin as the paper a check is printed on. For this next one, we are going to travel to Paris, France. Victor Lustig, the man who sold the Eiffel Tower. In the pantheon of legendary swindlers, few can match the audacity and charm of Victor Lustig. His most outrageous scam, selling the Eiffel Tower, not once, but twice, is a tale of cunning and daring that has become part of criminal folklore. But who was this man, and how did he pull off such an unthinkable con? Born in what is now the Czech Republic, Lustig was a polyglot and a master of deception, with over 45 aliases and a dozen fake passports. His life of crime spanned across continents, but it was in Paris where he orchestrated his masterpiece. In 1925, reading about the deteriorating state of the Eiffel Tower in a newspaper, Lustig saw an opportunity. He forged government credentials and invited 6 scrap metal dealers to a confidential meeting, where he revealed that the maintenance costs of the Eiffel Tower were untenable, and the government had decided to dismantle it and sell it for scrap. The dealers, blinded by greed and the opportunity to make a fortune, entered into a bidding war. The winning bid came from André Poisson, a man so eager to secure the deal that he overlooked the red flags. However, after paying a substantial bribe to what he believed was securing the deal, Poisson realized the scam. Embarrassed, he chose not to report Lustig, and the Count, as Lustig liked to call himself, left Paris with a suitcase full of cash. But his audacity knew no bounds, and he returned to Paris to try the scam again. This time, the police were informed, but Lustig escaped once more, leaving behind a legacy of one of the most brazen scams in history. Lustig's criminal career didn't end with the Eiffel Tower. He was also known for selling a money box which he claimed could duplicate currency, and for his involvement in numerous other frauds and counterfeiting operations. However, his luck eventually ran out. In 1935, Lustig was arrested in the United States for counterfeiting and sentenced to 20 years in Alcatraz. He died in prison of complications from pneumonia in 1947. Victor Lustig's life was a series of daring escapades and narrow escapes, a testament to his genius in manipulation and deceit. His story is not just a cautionary tale of greed and gullibility, but also a fascinating glimpse into the mind of one of history's most charismatic con artists. The man who sold the Eiffel Tower lives on in infamy, a symbol of the audacity of the human spirit in its darkest form. Not all shysters are men. Meet Elizabeth Holmes, the Silicon Valley siren. Elizabeth Holmes emerged as a symbol of groundbreaking innovation in Silicon Valley with a promise to revolutionize the healthcare industry. Founding Theranos at the age of 19, Holmes claimed to have developed technology that could conduct comprehensive tests using just a few drops of blood from a finger prick. The allure of this revolutionary idea attracted massive investments, and at its peak, Theranos was valued at $9 billion, making Holmes the youngest self-made female billionaire. However, beneath the facade of success and innovation lay a web of deception and unethical business practices. The technology Holmes and her company touted was, in reality, fundamentally flawed. The Minilab, as it was called, failed to provide accurate results consistently, posing serious risks to patient health and well-being. The unraveling of Theranos began with a series of investigative articles by the Wall Street Journal, which questioned the legitimacy of the technology and the integrity of the company's operations. These revelations led to a domino effect, with regulatory investigations uncovering the extent of the deceit. The once celebrated technology was exposed as a fraud, leading to the rapid decline of Theranos. Holmes's fall from grace was as dramatic as her meteoric rise. She faced multiple charges, including wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, for misleading investors, government officials, and consumers. In a landmark trial that captivated public attention, Holmes was found guilty, marking a significant moment of accountability in Silicon Valley. The story of Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos is a stark reminder of the perils of the fake-it-till-you-make-it culture, prevalent in the cutthroat world of startups. It underscores the importance of integrity, transparency, and ethical conduct in the pursuit of innovation. Today, the tale of Elizabeth Holmes serves as a cautionary narrative about the complexity of ambition, the allure of charisma, and the profound consequences when they are entwined with deception. Now we can't leave out Anna Sorokin, Delvey, the fake heiress. Anna Sorokin, masquerading as Anna Delvey, weaved a narrative of wealth and status that fooled New York City's elite. With audacity and meticulous attention to detail, she crafted an identity as a wealthy German heiress with a $60 million trust fund. In reality, Sorokin was a Russian immigrant with a vision of grandeur and an unquenchable thirst for luxury. Her scheme was as simple as it was audacious. She surrounded herself with the city's socialites, artists, and entrepreneurs, promising them a share in her glamorous world. Her projects, like the Anna Delvey Foundation, a proposed arts club and event space, were grandiose. She stayed in lavish hotels, dined at upscale restaurants, and promised her friends trips on private jets, all without spending a dime of her own money. However, Sorokin's castle of lies began to crumble as her unpaid bills and dubious financial practices caught up with her. Hotels demanded payment, private jet companies sent collection notices, and banks closed in on her forged documents and fraudulent loan applications. The facade of the rich heiress shattered, revealing the truth of her grand deception. In a high-profile trial that gripped the nation, Anna Sorokin was convicted of multiple charges, including grand larceny and theft of services. Her trial showcased her nonchalance and apparent indifference to the seriousness of her situation, further captivating public attention. Sorokin was sentenced to prison, her story a testament to the intoxicating allure of fame, wealth, and the lengths one might go to grasp it. Anna Sorokin's story is a modern tale of vanity, deception, and the pursuit of a life drenched in luxury, no matter the cost. It highlights the fragility of trust in a world where appearances can be deceiving, and where the line between high society and high-stakes fraud can become perilously thin. Now this next one is one for the ages. Edoardo da Valfierno, the Mona Lisa heist mastermind. In a tale shrouded in mystery and intrigue, Edoardo da Valfierno stands as a shadowy figure behind one of the most audacious art thefts in history, the theft of the Mona Lisa from the Louvre in 1911. Valfierno, an Argentine con man of refined taste and cunning intellect, orchestrated a scheme that was as brilliant as it was bold, forever etching his name in the annals of criminal lore. Valfierno's plan was not merely to steal the world's most famous painting but to capitalize on its notoriety. He partnered with a skilled forger who created 6 impeccable replicas of the Mona Lisa. The real genius of Valfierno's plan lay in the aftermath of the theft. While the world was in a frenzy over the missing masterpiece, Valfierno quietly sold the forgeries to unsuspecting collectors, each believing they had purchased the stolen original. The actual theft was carried out by Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian handyman. Under Valfierno's direction, managed to walk out of the Louvre with the Mona Lisa hidden under his clothing. The painting remained missing for 2 years, causing a sensation and elevating the Mona Lisa to an unprecedented level of fame. Surprisingly, Valfierno was never arrested or even officially linked to the theft. He didn't seek the Mona Lisa for himself but for the fortune he could amass by exploiting its fame. After the successful sale of the forgeries, he disappeared from the public eye, his fate as enigmatic as the smile of the Mona Lisa itself. The painting was eventually recovered and returned to the Louvre, but the story of its theft remains a captivating tale of cunning, greed, and the irresistible allure of art. Last but not least is Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. In the high-octane world of Wall Street in the 1990s, Jordan Belfort epitomized the era's excess and ambition. As the founder of Stratton Oakmont, Belfort transformed a modest venture into a powerhouse, engaging in a level of decadence and debauchery as notorious as his financial maneuvers. But beneath the veneer of success and glamour was a darker reality of fraud and manipulation. Belfort's firm, Stratton Oakmont, functioned as a boiler room, pushing worthless stocks onto unsuspecting investors through high-pressure sales tactics. The firm engaged in pump-and-dump schemes, artificially inflating the stock prices of worthless companies and then selling them at a profit, leaving investors with significant losses. The lavish lifestyle, the parties, and the unchecked indulgence were fueled by this fraudulent wealth. However, the party couldn't last forever. The law was closing in, and the house of cards began to crumble. In the late 1990s, the SEC and other federal agencies started to investigate Stratton Oakmont, leading to its closure and charges against Belfort and his associates. Belfort's fall from grace was swift and severe. In 2003, he pleaded guilty to securities fraud and money laundering. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison, ultimately serving 22 months. As part of his sentence, he was ordered to pay back $110.4 million to defrauded investors, a debt he's still fulfilling through earnings from book sales and speaking engagements. But Jordan Belfort's story didn't end in prison. He reinvented himself as a motivational speaker and author, sharing his story and insights into sales and persuasion. His memoir, The Wolf of Wall Street, and the subsequent movie adaptation, catapulted his story into the spotlight, making him a controversial figure whose life serves as a cautionary tale about the intoxicating allure of power and wealth, and the steep price of unchecked greed. Jordan Belfort's journey from a stock market maverick to a convicted criminal, and finally to a motivational speaker, is a testament to the complex interplay of ambition, ethics, and the choices that define our paths. His story remains a riveting narrative of the excesses of Wall Street and the consequences that follow. Today, we've journeyed through the twisted paths of history's most infamous swindlers, witnessing the complex interplay of charm, deceit, and ambition. Each story serves as a reminder of the thin line between genius and infamy. We are curious to know how many of our viewers were familiar with the people we showcased in this video. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching Facts Intrigue channel.